Hello again and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your girl Rochelle Ravenwolf, aka Daniel. I'm here today with my second video of this series that I started called Motivational Mondays. I hope you guys enjoyed the first one. It wasn't very deep into the emotional part and motivational part of it, but I just wanted you guys to know why I'm doing what I'm doing and where I'm coming from when it comes to mental health, and why I'm so passionate about it. I think it's one of the most important things that we have a society that is not only physically stable, economically stable, but also emotionally. We've been neglecting the emotional part of this entire world, for trivial things in the world like economy and physical things that are necessary but are not always the most important part. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that little bell, so every time I upload a new video you can see or get a notification that I uploaded a new video. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your family your thoughts when it comes to this subject. If you're already subscribed, thank you again for showing your support. And let's go ahead and dig into this new subject, which is going to be emotional intelligence. Hello everyone, and today we'll be talking about emotional intelligence. As I said before, we're gonna know what it is, how to improve it, and have a better understanding of our own feelings and emotions to be able to excel in life. I'm reading off of some notes that I already made for you guys, so I can better explain to you, scientifically speaking, what is emotional intelligence and all that involves it. The scientific definition of emotional intelligence is the ability to accurately perceive your own and others' emotions, to be able to understand the signals that emotions send through, about relationships, and manage your own and others' emotions. I came across an article called The Science Behind Emotional Intelligence by Emily Asseret, a PhD, and it gives us a more scientific explanation about what and how our brain functions when we talk about emotional intelligence. I'm going to quote from the article for those brainiacs like me who like a more scientific explanation, and then I'll go into more details for the rest of us to understand. And don't worry, I'll leave the links down below so you guys can go ahead and absorb all the knowledge from all those websites and different articles that I've took it from. So now I'm going back to the article, and I'm going to quote this whole section that I'm going to be mentioning to you guys is a quote directly from the article that I want you guys to understand the more scientific version of what emotional intelligence really is. So, emotions are not just a matter of the heart. Recent advances in research have shown that they are also a result of brain biochemistry. These conclusions came from neuroscience, evolution, medicine, psychology, and management. Emotional signals in the brain are felt throughout the body, in the gut, in the heart, in the head, in the neck, and so on. That's why we call it feelings. You feel emotions. These sensations are important signals if we learn to read them. They will help us make decisions and initiate action. Most scientists believe that the control center of emotions in the brain is the limbic system, consisting of the amygdala, the hippocampus, and other structures in the midbrain that stores every experience we have from the first moments in life. Impressions that are stored in these areas long before we acquire the actual verbal or higher thinking abilities to put them into words. It is this vast warehouse of feelings and impressions that provide a context or meaning for those memories. Messages are transmitted to the brain by neurons traveling throughout an electrical transmission system. In the 1970s, however, scientists discovered that our bodies also contain chemical system for transmitting messages. This system is based on chemicals called peptides, which have receptors in every cell in our body. These highly sensitive information substances are thought to be the chemical substances of emotion, triggering impression memories through our lives. Our brains are linked to our bodies to our body systems, and it is these peptides that are responsible for the emotions we feel in various parts of our body. This chemical transmission systems just described is far, far older in evolutionary history than the electrical brain. In fact, many of the same information substances found in humans are found in one-celled animals. Their presence in the most basic as well as the most complex forms of life is a clear indication of their importance. Now that we touched the basis of what happens in your brain and body when it comes to emotion, we're going to talk about it in a language that we can all understand. You are the only one responsible of your own emotions. You need to learn how to take ownership of them, being emotionally self-aware, and identify your emotions. It all comes down to how well a person can read and monitor their own emotions as well as those of others. Why am I mentioning this specific definition so often? You may ask, I want you to understand that being emotionally intelligent is not always about you. It also involves awareness of your surroundings and those in it. You need to understand that emotional intelligence manifests in our daily lives, and here are a few things that I could mention as to where emotional intelligence plays a role in our daily lives. When you think about your feelings, what are my emotional strengths? What are my weaknesses? Does my current mood affect my thoughts and decision making? What's going on the surface that influences what others say or do? That's emotional intelligence. Also, when you take a moment to study a certain scenario and you pause, that pause is being emotionally intelligent. Also, when you strive to control your thoughts and your reaction to those emotions, for example, and this is an example that I like a lot, you can't control or prevent a bird from landing on your head, but you can keep it from building a nest. That's when you strive to control your thoughts and your reaction to those emotions comes to play in our daily basis. There's things that are out of our control that we cannot prevent from happening, but it's your reaction to those that you can actually control and be self-aware of those. When you benefit from criticism, how can this make me better? Usually when we come across someone who's criticizing us, it usually is not something that we like a lot happening in our lives. It is sometimes cruel, it is sometimes hard and difficult for us to understand or grasp certain concepts or how people see us, because it's a different perspective of what we're used to. And it's not just about the bad criticism, it's about how you take that criticism and learn from it and get better at what you do, if that makes sense. When you show authenticity and you do not overshare, but you share enough for those who actually matter and for those who actually care for you. Usually we tend to overshare to strangers and people who do not care or who are not there enough to pay attention to whatever we're going through and help us. That's when you need to learn that you do not share with people that are not part of that circle. You have to be very selective of what you share and who you share it to. When you demonstrate empathy. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second. This is out of all the things that I'm going to talk about, the most that resembles what emotional intelligence entitles. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, to put yourself in the other person's shoes. So basically, you're trying to understand, not agree. When you, in this case, empathy is a word that's been used a lot lately, and it's something that most people are not familiar with what it means. Just think of this. How would I feel if I was going through that exact same thing? How would I feel if I was going through that same issues? And how can I help that person that's going through that? And get yourself into their shoes, and you will have this better understanding of others' feelings, and how can you not aggravate certain situations, if that makes sense. When you praise others, because sharing what you appreciate builds trust in others. So never underestimate the power of saying, hey, you did amazing in this project at work. Hey, you are an amazing person. Hey, I appreciate the way you are, the way you work, the way you strive to get better. And that's something that builds trust in other people, and they get to open up to you and see you as a trustworthy person. Now, the other thing is when you give helpful feedback. Feedback is good, and it's also close to what we were saying before about criticism. But in this case, you are refraining yourself from criticism. Instead, you're giving a constructive feedback, and so the recipient sees it as something helpful instead of something harmful. When you apologize, now this is something that we forget sometimes, and we are stubborn, and we are like, why should I apologize for something I didn't do? And sometimes it's not about what you did wrong, or if you ever did something wrong. It all comes down to this: you value your friendship more than your ego. And if we all did that every now and then, how wonderful everything would be. Sometimes we have to let go of that ego, let go of that resentment and that pressure, because we value more the person behind it than what they actually did. When you forgive and forget, and it all ties up one with the other. There is a difference between forgiving and forgetting, and this will help you prevent others from holding emotions hostage, therefore moving forward. We can't move forward if you're still holding a grudge against someone, if you're still caught up in your emotions and you can't let go of certain things. For you to be able to move forward, for you to be able to be a better person, you have to let go of certain things that hold you back. When you keep your commitments, this is something that I'm very strict about, and it's something that it's a pet peeve of mine. If I say I'm going somewhere, I could be dying, and I don't care what people say, hey, you should have stayed home or whatnot. I'm the kind of person that it doesn't matter what the commitment is and what's going on. If I said I'm going, I'm gonna be there. And that's something that develops a strong reputation for reliability in you and trustworthiness for yourself. And for me, that's very important. When you help others, that's also another sign of emotional intelligence. You are intelligent enough to realize that somebody needs help. And yes, you might be thinking, well, that's easy. You can see something, sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it's not. Let's take this example. Robin Williams, he was the happiest person that we could have seen. He was an amazing performer, and he enjoyed helping others or bring laughs out, And when you read certain some of his phrases and you realize he was not happy. He was just helping others be what he couldn't be. And when you realize that somebody is in their need of help, whether they're smiling or not, when you're able to pinpoint that specific situation and that specific scenario where you need to be actively helpful, you are being already emotional intelligent. When you protect yourself from emotional sabotage, yes, emotional intelligence also has a dark side to it. And this side comes to play when someone uses people's emotions to promote a personal agenda. That's why you need to continue to sharpen your own emotions to protect your own self. I won't be going into a lot of details when it comes to the dark side of emotional intelligence now, because I want to talk about that specific part or side of the emotional intelligence on next Monday's video. But I want you to know that yes, when you are very emotionally intelligent, it's like smart people. You can decide to use that intelligence for good, but you can also end up tilting the balance into being something bad, something that puts your needs before others' needs, and taking advantage of those emotions, um, for your own personal agenda. So next week, I'm gonna be talking about how to protect yourself from being a victim of or becoming the aggressor yourself when it comes to emotional intelligence. Now, I encourage you guys to go on and work on being the best version of yourself you can be. I know I wasn't looking straight at the camera most of the time. I'm just going through my notes, but I just wanted you guys to know that there's a lot we can work on a daily basis, and there's a lot that we do that we are not even aware that is part of being emotionally intelligent. Just learn how to identify your own emotions, protect those emotions, and to get yourself in the other people's emotions and other people's shoes. You will learn that this way you will accomplish so much more, and you would understand and have a broad understanding actually of what others feels, and it would also make you a better person in the sense that you won't do anything that would harm you or others. I know it's way deeper than that. I'm gonna leave the links down below so you guys can read through, but I just wanted you to know that you are strong, you are beautiful, you are someone that matters, you are very important, you are unique, and dare to break the mold, dare to be different, dare to enjoy every little detail of you, whether it's good or bad, and learn from the bad stuff. Learn to understand your own self, so that way you can strengthen those things that are the stuff that you like, and you learn how to control those who bring you down and those who are not as beautiful or as pretty as it as the other ones you have. So I encourage you to be the best version of yourself you can be, to love each other, and to be able to to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand where everybody is coming from, and not being so judgmental when it comes to being you. Everybody deserves a chance to be themselves. Everybody deserves a chance to break the mold, to be different, to express who they are, whether it's with their clothes, with their makeup, with being a bearded drag queen. How many people have approached me and said, why don't you shave your beard? You will be a beautiful drag queen. I've done it. My performances were originally without a beard, but I've learned to accept that I like the beard, that I like being different, and the community and in general, there's not a specific profile of how you should look. We should all dare to be different. We should all dare to be ourselves, and nobody can take that away from you. Nobody should dare take that away from you. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And leave comments down below and let me know what you guys think, and what you guys want to hear next, and what other subjects you would like me to touch base on. Love you.